doing fantastic. I have had one thing that I have been excited to talk about for the last like 5 days. I was like,
All right.
no, this is a great podcast topic. I was like, I have to save it for the what we've been watching thing. The part.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I'm excited.
I'm ready. We're gonna talk
I'm
about.
waiting for it. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boys, and we are back with the 28th episode of the DNAnime podcast. I hope you guys are excited. We're going to be talking about some anime. We're going to talk about what we've been up to, what we've been watching. We're just going to be talking. And that's why you tune into the podcast, is hear two guys yap incessantly about things that don't matter. That's what we bring to you guys. It's totally unique and original. Let's go. My name is Beautiful Crow. I'm here with my co-host, Vic Seal. Vix, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I have had one thing that I have been excited to talk about for the last like 5 days. I was like, no, this is a great podcast topic. I was like, I have to save it for the what we've been watching thing. The part.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I'm excited.
I'm ready. We're gonna talk
I'm
about
waiting for it.
Blue Lock. We're gonna talk about Blue
what
Lock.
the fuck? That's not what I thought. I thought it was gonna be another Dom segment, man.
One of the animators that worked on Blue Lock finally got to speak out on why the animation was so bad, and it makes sense. It was we can confidently say it's not the animator's fault. Based on what was said to us, we can confidently say that it is 8-Bit Studio that is currently like dropping the ball. I don't know what the like time constraint is that they have, but they have been noted to take the like completed versions of the episode and then like take out cuts, which is why it looks, so stationary. Is because
that's insane to me.
Yeah, like they
the
have the finished product for the episodes that people are working on, and then they have some version of a time constraint, and then they cut pieces out, and it's like this happens after the animators have already submitted their like cuts, so they don't even know what happened to their portion until it is aired.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, that sucks. Because I was literally sitting there one day, like watching part of the episode 3 of Blue Lock, and I was like, somebody has to have made an explanation for this. Like, this is so egregious that there has to be somebody that is like, look, this is what's going on. I understand the hate, but this is why it's happening. And that's what came up, is that there was an animator that finally was like, yo, this ain't on us. Listen to me. Listen to me when I tell you this. This is not my fault.
Yeah, because I saw when the post was made on Twitter, and they finally came out to talk about how he was working on episode 2, and I guess he was going to be working on 3, 4, and 5. But I guess after everything that happened with episode 2, you kind of just like, I'm done. I'm leaving.
There was no, we have to let them know. I can't get blacklisted by the entire community.
Because it's like of two things. It's like, okay, do I speak out about this and then maybe potentially get blacklisted from work in the future? Or do people see my name attached to this thing and be like, oh, this is what quality you putting out?
Yeah.
Blue Lock, still frame quality. I mean, I had pretty much figured that it was going to be something in regards to the production. I mean, a lot of animators, they are very passionate. They love animate. They're not getting paid a lot. They're working on multiple shows.
They have
they do it out of passion.
Disregarding the last episode where we talked about the stuff that they hated, most of them have to love their work. It is too much work for too little pay to not do that.
But at the same time, it's like when I look at it and I get the information, and granted it's from one source, so who knows, maybe there's a second side to the story, but to look at that and be like, what was the point of you picking up a second season if you were literally just going to cut it to pieces and rip out bits to put out the bare minimum product just to say like, hey, we did a second season.
On the backlash from the preview, they should have taken that and been like, you know what, we will just kind of we'll have to make a couple calls, be like, hey, this is only going south.
Because I would assume that what they would have done was like Uzumaki, right? Like, they had an amazing first episode. Uzumaki looked incredible, and that was all the trailers and promotional stuff was from first episode. The next episode was all garbage. So you would assume they would have done that, but they didn't even have enough good animation for season 2 of Blue Lock
to even show, to
make a
trailer.
trailer.
On the goodwill of the first season, they're like, "Hey man, everybody loved the first season. Hey man, just put out like the web novel."
Yeah, it turned into a motion comic, and it was not great.
Yeah. Some of it was pretty bad. Like the worst one, I think, is the ball not spinning when it got kicked. That's probably one of the worst ones.
I've seen so many clips. So how many episodes out? Because you've been watching it. So
I haven't been watching it. I have it on my list, but 4 have been released, and none of them have looked good. From like my TikTok is absolutely flooded with Blue Lock. Like I could probably tell you what's going on in the series without actually watching it. I have so many TikToks that come up of it.
Yeah.
None of them have like good animation. There's like maybe 2 seconds that might be pretty fluid, and then they just give up on it. In fact, in the 4th episode, they do a flashback to when Bachira did his like little spin dodge past the frontliner. And in that flashback, it was literally just the clip from the first season. That was the most animation that they got that episode.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was
when
like,
they just go back and reuse the good animation.
But I mean, those 3 seconds, man, that was fire.
I just don't get it, man. Like it makes no sense. Is it money laundering? Are they doing scams? What's going on here?
Trying to move money around. But I definitely felt like I needed to say that on the podcast for how much we've been slamming Blue Lock for the past 3 weeks. I was like, since we run into it all the time, we need to bring up at least why it looks like that. I'm sure people want to know at this point, because like I can't be the only one that's seen it. Like you've seen it, and like other people on TikTok have to be like, what's going on? I mean, you know, TikTok is probably flooded with everybody talking about the guy announcing what happened. So there was that.
I mean, my whole thing was always just like, it looked bad and it was hilarious. Because at first, the first thing I saw about the animation was people making memes about it. And it was like all of those anime like TikTokers.
I thought it was a joke. When I was watching the PV, I was like, this is a funny joke. This is good.
The first thing that I heard of it was even before seeing the actual like animation. I just saw people talking about it and doing like TikToks, making fun of it and be like, it looks like this. And they were like, freeze frame.
Where they were like in real life, they were just like,
So I was just like looking at that and I was just like, oh, it can't be that bad.
Right.
And then
like,
I saw something.
Every time I saw something, I was like, it's not that bad. It can't be that bad.
My brain couldn't fathom it. So I was like looking at it, I was just like, there's no way. And then I saw the first PV and I was like, oh, that must be like them just hyping it up and it's like a motion. Because sometimes they do that with like an anime. They show like a little motion comic of it. Like, oh yeah, we don't have the animation done yet.
Joke. I'm ready for the real stuff now. Let me see the good shit.
That was the finalized product. But at the end of the day, I love anime, right? And especially with all the news and all the information that came out after season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen with Mappa Studios, where they had episodes being worked on right before it was being released. You know what I mean? Like the animators are put under a lot of pressure. I mean, you can't really speak on it until we actually get somebody who firsthand knowledge, who worked on it. There's an official announcement. You can only really assume like something went terrible. And I know we've been ragging on it and making jokes. But, you know, I love anime. I want Blue Lock season 2 to be good. I enjoyed the first season.
Apparently, Blue Lock's like entire community was like, please, if you have to do this for the U20 match, just make those like 6 episodes that it's in good. I only care about this is the most important part of the series. Please make this one good. And sorry, Blue Lock fans, it's looking like that's not going to be the case. Unless there is some changes that happen, you might be kind of SOL on that one.
We just need so it's an old story. I'm about to harken back.
I was a 7 Deadly Sins fan. I feel you on that one. I read through the manga. They hit me with that anime, and I was like, no, why? The Escanor versus Assault Mode Meliodas, Demon King Meliodas was too fucking good, and then they ruined it. I was like, I couldn't believe how bad they ruined it because it was literally 1 second long.
Oh no.
It's literally just Escanor doing this and winning the fight, and they fucked it up.
Dude, that sucks because the thing is like this is gonna be a totally different thing, but what I want, so there was a game that came out back in the day. It was Spider-Man 2, the OG Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation, right? Amazing game. Everybody harkens back to like, oh my god, it has the best swinging mechanics in all the Spider-Man games, right? The only reason why those Spider-Man mechanics, the swing mechanics, are in the game is because one of the programmers who wanted it to be that way broke into the studio, worked on his own time at home, and then imported the swing mechanics into the game.
They just don't know. They're just they're like TV developers, but they're just like, hey, this sounds like a good idea. This is what kids will love.
Yeah, so the animators, I need y'all to break into that studio.
Time to start committing crimes for your passion.
Yeah,
this is bad advice. Do not do this. This is a joke. this is a joke.
Yeah,
Don't
for our
actually do
lawyers.
that.
The little fine print, that was a complete joke, a fibbery, a
We'll put it down there in the
tomfoolery.
corner.
No, it's a joke. do not take that as fact. But no, I thought that was a really funny story that he literally broke in to put the swinging mechanics into the game. It sucks because I really enjoyed Blue Lock Season 1.
They have, like, all the way up, and it's past the Amazing Spider-Man. They got a Spider-Man 2 coming out, or came out, that was really good.
Yeah.
See?
But I don't know. But I mean, hey, at the end of the day, it sucks. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know why they would mess with the finalized product and put it out in that state, because all it's going to do is get clowned.
Yeah,
and
like,
then I guess
I understand,
these,
like, not knowing exactly what it would be like to, like, feel especially in games, like, how maybe you like it because you're, like, not well versed in games, but, like, sometimes when you look at it, you're like, I don't even have to play that to know that is not quite right. Like, something is off, and it's like, I'm certain there are people in the company that are like, hey, you should probably fix this before we send this out. And then they're like, nah, man, just send it on out, brother. Just go ahead and do it. They'll do it. They'll buy it because it's the name of the game.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm guessing. Most likely,
we should release
is
every
management.
game under an alias. We shouldn't even know what it is until after it's released. That way they can't bank on the hype. It has to be fully on the gameplay.
That's what it feels like. It feels like the first season did so well, and they're just like, we can release whatever, and they'll just eat it up. And then they release this shit,
so many people like
are just
bank
like,
on just like the title, on like the name. It's like, no, we like the first one because it was good. You can't just like use that again and then be like, yeah, no, that's just shit. It's fine. Unless like they were probably fully planning on like not having a third season, so they're like, whoever watches the second one can watch it. It'll be alright.
Assuming that Blue Lock did like the first season did well.
You can't just throw it out. You can't just give up on it.
Yeah,
you gotta put
like,
your heart
everybody
and soul.
was talking about Blue Lock.
You're trying to ruin it with the power of friendship in the background.
Dude, what would suck if they did this in Windbreakers? I love Windbreakers.
No, they
Windbreakers
better
is
not,
amazing.
dude. I want to see
if they
more
fuck
fights.
Windbreakers.
Windbreakers 2, or season 2 is coming out in January.
It is?
Yeah. A whole bunch of stuff got announced that was coming out in January. There was another one that I can't remember what it was. It was one that Dukes is watching that I was like, hey, it's coming out in January. Dr. Stone. The next season of Dr. Stone's coming out in January.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited because Dr. Stone is so good. It's so fucking good. And they're heading over to America right now in the anime. So I know what's coming up next, and it's about to get really good.
Oh, God.
As if it wasn't good before, it's about to get even better.
I love Dr. Stone.
Hey, if you guys want to see some good shit, hey, put the remote down. Don't watch Blue Lock. Go over to watch Dr. Stone and then come back to Blue Lock in a couple weeks. See what happens.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. Is just like I love animation. I love anime. It sucks that Blue Lock is getting this terrible representation and just pretty much stink because everybody's just clowning on it. Like
it
it's
does kind
hard
of hurt
to
my
really look
feelings
at it
because like I don't really play sports, but I used to play sports in school, and soccer was one of my favorites. Like,
Yep.
I played soccer for like 7 years before I stopped playing. So like I was into it. Like I was hype. I was ready for this. And then the season 1 really sold me on it. And then season 2 was like, what the? It went with both the best and the worst. They're like, let's start off good and let's see how. You see those filters on TikTok where they're like, let's see how good of a person we can make. And they have like the 7 people. Well, they did that, but they tried to get the worst guy.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. But hopefully, it might have a redemption. Maybe they'll push it back. Maybe they'll do like a hiatus, like Zom 100 did, and they'll like go back and fix these issues. I don't know.
I can only hope that if they take like an entire season break right before the U20 match, I understand.
Yeah,
I'll take that. I know where we're at right now. I get it. Go ahead, take a break. Take a break. I'll catch you next time.
Because it is rough. But I guess in a me update, I watched the first episode of. I
didn't get to watch the 4th episode, but I know what it is, and I am surprised they put a swear word in the title, and they don't normally do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Kicking Turbo Granny's Ass is the name of the episode.
I
was like, okay, so first of all, I know what's happening in the episode without having to watch it, because obviously, we read the manga.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that they were gonna put like, I thought that was essentially against the rules to do that. To like put a swear word in the title.
New times, man. New times. Anime fans have grown up.
I mean, I support it. Go ahead, make your moves. I don't think it's a big deal. I just thought it was funny because it's like, I don't even remember if I've ever seen that before. So I was like,
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
So I was surprised to see it, but I'm so ready to watch the next episode. I know Dukes we gotta get ready with Dukes to watch it because I'm making her watch it. I was like, if there's one anime you gotta watch this season, it is DNAnime, which is tough to say because DanMachi is in there too. But like, you have to watch DNAnime and then DanMachi. But yeah, I mean, like,
I'll keep the DNAnime segment.
I think DanMachi is still my number one, but like DNAnime is like so good though. It's like it's just such a breath of fresh air that it's like you have to see this. I cannot in DanMachi I can explain to you what's happening. In DNAnime, you have to see it. You just have to see it. You can't. I cannot explain it to you. Each like 3 episodes is going to be so wildly different. I could just be like, ghosts, I guess.
Yeah, it is so hard because it's really, really difficult to explain. It's kind of like you gotta just go down a bullet point list where just like, and this happened, and this happens, and this happened. And you want to know what's something that's funny? I understand now why that is. So the author of DNAnime, he had a interview recently.
Oh yes, I did see this. I did see this interview.
Yes. And so he was kind of like, not really knowing what to do. He had
writer's block, yeah.
He had writer's block, and then the author, I forget of what manga, but he's like a friend of his who's working on a successful manga. I don't remember what it is. He told him, he's like, you know what? Just do whatever. Just write, do whatever you want, and just draw freely.
Yeah, and he was like, hey man, just no direction. Just go ahead, put out whatever you want. And he's like, if you say so.
And he was like, I'll go write the most random
spirits, Godzilla.
You go write the most random anime, and it's so hard. Even Crunchyroll can't write a synopsis.
The story makes no fucking sense in its direction, but every single character is so good and interesting that you're like, all right, it's fine. I don't really care.
Yep. The character design is amazing. The opening and ending are phenomenal. The animation is incredible. The art design in the manga is fantastic. The characters and their interactions with each other and their relationships are all fantastic. Whenever you get that like story arc finale of the characters, kind of like getting an understanding of the characters' backstory that they're fighting or whatever's going on. Like whenever you have one of those like flashback moments, it's heart-wrenching. It's amazing, and I always look forward to like finishing the saga.
Sold both of us on the series. Like aside from the like crazy shit at the beginning, where we actually get to see how not annoying the characters are with their misunderstanding. It's coming up. It's either this episode or next episode.
It's coming up soon.
We were talking about it because we talked about the topic for today a little bit earlier in stream. So we were talking about it, and I was like, hey. That happens. Like the misunderstanding thing comes up, and they resolve it like a real person would.
Yep, and that's what's like. Because when I was reading DNAnime, I was telling you about it. Because I was like, it's hard to explain and give you a synopsis, but that moment sold me on DNAnime because I was just like, it wasn't the what happened here, and then like she uppercuts him, and he's just like, oh, and then they don't do anything about it, and just like a returning.
And then just 25 episodes of her trying to get away from him and him trying to explain himself.
We'll get into it. DNAnime is written amazing. It is off the wall, zany, insane, and it's so good. The manga's fantastic. You get to see realistic Obama in the first chapter. It's so much fun. It's a blast. One of the other things that came out in the interview was that the author was just like, hey, I'm doing it all digital because it wasn't in the magazine. It wasn't like Shonen Jump magazine. It was all digital, kind of like Sakamoto days. So he didn't have a page limit. So he would do really, like the first chapter is really long. Some of the chapters are short. It kind of pains me sometimes because some of these chapters do be short. That last chapter just came out. I was like, I want more. I need more meat on my bone. It seems
like after binging 168 chapters, it's like seems like it's slowed down a lot. And it's like, oh no, I know the craziness is sitting there in the next chapter, but it's so far away.
I know. Every chapter that comes out now is like the gif of Mickey Mouse from the mouse and the bean stalk or whatever, he cut the little bean in like little thin slices with the bread.
Oh, yeah.
With little thin slices, just like, oh, we just getting this tiny meal, but it's so delicious. But no, Don Don's amazing. I really enjoyed the first episode. I watched it. It was fantastic, creepy, unsettling, very crazy topic or things going on with both the ghosts and the aliens. But I would highly recommend watching DanMachi, reading the manga if you can. Support it, please.
Don star.
I want more. Don, yes, that's what I meant. Watch DanMachi as well, but Don. Actually, I guess that was going to be my next segue. Have you seen some DanMachi, right?
I think we're 2 out of 3 episodes in. I think the third one just got released either today or yesterday, I think.
Okay. But I haven't seen any of it yet. I'm going to try to sit down and watch it in bulk now that I got a couple episodes built up. I'm to catch up. I know Frey is a big player in the season because of the poster. And that's what scared me.
Yeah, they haven't like truly defined what her like role in the series or in the season is yet. It just seems like there's one character that is just like really important, and it's like, why are we finding out about this 5 seasons in? I feel like this is information we should have known ahead of time. But they still haven't even like fully mentioned what the fuck it is. Like everybody in Freya's familia is just like going bonkers. like they're all so serious adventurers, and then this one person is addressed, and they're like, "Oh, time to kick Belle's ass." And you're like, wait, we didn't even do anything.
My boy, not my baby boy.
Yeah, and then like the level 4 or 5 adventurer comes in and actually lays the fucking smack down on him. I was like, that's so rude. Like, Belle has no idea what's going on. Like, me neither. I also don't know what's going on.
This season's gonna fucking suck. I'm gonna be so upset. If they do anything bad to my boy, that's my dog. I think the only thing I've seen of the season was when they were at because it's like a clip that came up on TikTok or something like that, where they're at the inn, and he's sitting down with the 2 girls, the one with like the future sight, and then her friend, and she's like eating something. He wipes it off her face and he eats it. I was like, my boy's the Rizzler.
Oh my god, dude! The reason behind why he does that is so dumb. Like, it's so astronomically stupid, and it's not even his choice. It's do that or be electrocuted.
Wait, what?
Yeah, those were her 2 options. In fact, he even, I don't know if the clip that you saw, I went back far enough, but like before that happens,
I don't think so.
There's a guy like behind him around the corner that is just like barely sticking out. He's got like electric in his hand, like he's holding the Chidori, and he's like, do something, say something, I fucking dare you.
Wait, why? Oh god, I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it
and find out.
I guess I have to watch it. God,
it's so dumb, though, but I love it.
Fantastic. All right, I'm excited. I thought my boy was just like, I'm a man now, but apparently he's gonna die. He's gonna get, what's her name, Rend? Good old Chidori through the chest.
Who?
Huh?
Who are you talking
about? Kakashi's like love interest.
Yeah, Rin. I was like, no, Ryu is the elf chick, the other one.
Man, I'm so upset because I know she's not gonna end up with Bill. I'm not even a big shipper, man, but come on, that last season was crazy. That last season was amazing.
Yeah, she's still kind of going through her feels right now, for sure.
Oh my god, have trauma later, have baby now. No, but yeah, so those are kind of like the big ones. Obviously, Don's amazing. DanMachi's incredible. I'm going to try to catch up with a couple other things. I should hopefully be able to do that over the course of this week, and I have an update for you guys next week because I got some anime to watch, and I've been having a little bit more free time now to be able to watch some stuff. So I watched first episode of Don. I was like, I have to. But we'll be getting into some other stuff as well because there's a lot of good stuff coming out this season, man.
There's one more this season that has given me the like, oh wow, they actually did that. The world's most notorious talker. I wasn't quite ready for him to gouge somebody's eye out. I wasn't ready for that.
Huh?
Yeah. So essentially, he's like an adventurer, right? So they get paid by the people that have them do stuff. So he got paid half the money up front. He went and did the thing and then came back, and then they tried to like poison him so that they could get the money back, and he knew, like he could tell, and like it's super fucked up because like he is being really sweet to the daughter, and she's like, if when I grow up, can I be a seeker like you, could we work together when I get stronger? and he's like, you know, encouraging her to do her best and whatever. And then the dad comes out with like the wine, and he's just like, oh, you think we wouldn't notice? And just like immediately, just like, he's like, either you drink this or we kill you on the spot. And, and he's like, he can't drink it because he'll die. So he just like cuts his eye out until they give him the money. And I was like, this was in front of the daughter, and I was like, holy shit. There was no subtlety in this. He was just like, oh, all right. So this is how we go. Remember, this is how things are done. And just like murders the guy. Like, he's not dead, but he's blind now. So
he murders his eyes.
Yeah.
His eyes.
I was like, that happened. That was a thing that did just happen, and I was not ready for that. I knew that he was
Is
like...
the anime good?
Yes, the anime is great.
I might have to throw it on my list.
It's one of those things that's like, whenever something happens, you have like a preconceived or like an idea of what's going to happen, because like we've been conditioned over the years of like what we've expected in these scenarios. So like you would expect that in that scenario they would just like threaten him or pull him into the other room and then threaten him until they got paid. And then he's just like, nah, I'm gonna hurt him out here right now. So like he definitely does quite often. He does actually use the mind control thing again to get him to confess. So yeah, he definitely is very cold. He's like, I don't care about what you think, what she thinks, or what she thinks, and I will cut your eyes out to prove it. And he's like, just give me my money. And that's it.
Why does he keep getting screwed? I mean, I guess that's the life of the adventurer, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the dark side. Like, not everybody that you work for is going to try to just give you what you asked for. They're going to try to scheme you out of it somehow. Trying to kill your guy is probably a little over the top, but like at the same time,
just bumped him over the head with a frying pan.
Yeah. So like he is also, you know, pretty young, so they do try to get away with that a lot too. And his one party member is also very young. So they definitely are trying to get over that. However, the two people were raised by the two strongest people in the world. So like they're both very smart. And like in regards to like their profession right now. So
because I thought he was kind of weak, but I guess that guy just wasn't ready for the eye attack.
Yeah, they probably also like doubly doubt him because he's like the weakest class. So they're like, yo, he's just a talker, man. He doesn't care. He's just a talker. He's weak. Take advantage of him. And he's like, oh, okay. We'll see about that.
Just ripping eyeballs out. I mean, hey, if you're not a martial like class, you're not that strong, you gotta do what you gotta do to incapacitate your enemy.
Like, you won't look down on me. I'm not gonna let that happen. So... Yeah,
you won't look at anything anymore.
But yeah, definitely that was one of the ones that like looked good at the very beginning, so it's going well.
How many episodes out?
A little more aggressive than I thought it was going to be, but it is definitely interesting.
All right, I need to check out Notorious Talker because it really does feel like, what is it, Redo the Healer, but not garbage?
Definitely not as like horrendous as Redo the Healer.
So you know what? Maybe that's how I'll get my fix of revenge.
They don't do anything crazy like that. Like Redo the Healer is something. It's something else, to say the least.
Shit diabolical. Or Huey, you need to watch this anime. That's my best Butcher impersonation. I can't do impersonations. But anyway, I figured from there we can transition on over to our topic of today. So we're going to be talking about our anime pet peeves, or things that kind of turn us off. Our things that kind of like, our biases and biases. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this is an interesting topic because there's been times where I've seen something where I'm just like, this ain't gonna be for me, right? I don't think I'm going to enjoy this. I think this is going to be garbage, you know, because it's not my cup of tea. And then I watch it and I fall in love with it. And it's sometimes you gotta like get out of your own head because your own worst enemy. There's I'm thinking of that meme, right? Whereas the little guy in the tunnel, he got a pickaxe, he's digging. He's like digging mining through the ground, and then he stops right before the diamonds. Yeah, that for me. Undead Unluck. I stopped before I got to the diamond. That was Undead Unluck. And I know we talked about it a lot, but fan service is like a huge thing for me. It's not like, if I see fan service, I'm gonna turn off the show or oh, fan service is just like irredeemable and bad. I've been an anime fan for a long time. It's not that big of a damn deal.
How early the fan service is put in and how like in your face it is. And then usually if I see it like right off the bat, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give it like a little bit longer. And if they keep throwing it in my face, then I'll probably just stop watching it because then they're focusing too much on that.
The reason why I dropped it
once, then it's like fine. Like Danmachi, there's a counter. Get your exclamation point Danmachi in. The Danmachi is a really bad offender of that in the first like 3 episodes. They put it like right in your face. The name really convinces you that that's going to be what it's about, and then it just right angles.
Dude, it's crazy. Okay, I'll get back to Undead Unluck, but yeah, Danmachi, I got a preview because I was looking through Audible and I found that in Audible they have light novels. So I was like, oh, I'll get a light novel and listen to one because I really want to check out like the ReZero and the different paths and all stuff like that. And I saw Danmachi was on there, and I listened to it, and I'm just like, the guy voice actor Bill was like, this girl, she's the most beautiful. I was like, ooh, and it's like, dude, all the worst shit.
I tried to listen to the Audible for Danmachi. I can't because they like, it's so uncomfortable listening to them take the damage without like seeing it to anything. It's just like in the background. It sounds like a fucking thwomp. You're just like, you're like, come on. This is so uncomfortable.
Like, I understand it because it's anime, right? But at the same time, in most like audiobooks, you don't get them doing efforts. You know what I mean? Like, they're not grunting and stuff. They just read the book. Yeah. So I think it's weird that in the like, instead of them just like reading the narration, they actually like voice act. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, it's super weird. I don't like it.
Give it a shot because I want to do it with ReZero just because I know the light novel goes to like different endings, like bad ends for Super.
Yeah, they have. I think that's super different paths. Yeah, like it's crazy because they have a path for like each sin for each of the witches. They have a path specifically for each one. I was like, that's first of all a lot of paths. Second of all, that's pretty interesting because one of them I know lasts for like millions of years or something because he just ends up dying so many times.
Yeah, and the thing is like I don't think they're going to go into any of that in anime. So I was like, might as well read the light novel so I can see stuff that I won't see. So I thought that was really cool, but I haven't picked one up yet. I've been listening to Dressing Files. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Undead Unluck, the thing that turned me off for it, again, it was immediate, and I felt like it wasn't like a joke or anything like that. It was just odd because he just ran up. He was just like, "Oh, touchy."
Super strange. Yeah, there was like there was no context or preemptive notion behind it. He just like walked up and was like, "Hell yeah!"
I'm grabbing a handful of titty and we go fuck and you go kill me. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit? Because the thing is that Undead Unluck came out around the same time as a bunch of different animes or mangas. Like they all released like this like new series like week or whatever. So I was like checking them all out, like Ruri Dragon, and then there was like the Red Riding Hood and Undead Unluck or whatever, like are all around the same time. So I was checking them all out like when it first started. And I read like the first 2 chapters Undead Unluck. And I'm just like, this just feels weird. I don't think I'm going to like this. I think the series is going to be garbage. Like the art style was kind of a little weird to me. And then him, like Andy just constantly like groping her and like doing all kinds of shit. I was like, what is this? Who is this for? What's going on?
After the 3 episode limit, they're like, all right, let's cut that out now.
They were like, let's just make the best fucking manga ever. Because Undead Unluck is phenomenal. The characters are great. The story is great. The romance between Andy and Fuko, amazing. The power
system is very unique.
The power system is so cool. And I love a very interesting. The negators is such a cool concept. The rules and everything like that's so interesting and so cool. And to hear that the mangaka was literally forced to put in the fan service by the editors. Like, he pretty much came out in an interview. He was like, they forced me to do that. I didn't want to do that. After the backlash, I told them I'm not doing it anymore. And then he wrote one of the best shonens of all time. Like, Undead Unluck is phenomenal.
Fucking editors, man. They don't know anything except for the one that was...
Toriyama's.
Yeah. For Spy Family, he's like, hey, look, I know that you're going to hate this. However...
Spy Family guy, yeah. Spy Family editor was he was on the money. He's like, dude, I know you got this wholesome, amazing story in you, man. Just stop, just do this. He's like, I don't wanna. He's like, would you do it for a Scooby snack?
Yeah, but I mean, fan service is like one of the more super common ones. Like everybody knows that fan service is like really kind of annoying now. Especially the older we get, the less tolerance we have of it. But there are other ones in there that we don't talk about as much. Like one that I've started to just fully drop the series for is when the main character is just like wildly OP for no reason. Like if they come in and they're like 5 years old and they're astronomically powerful for no reason, and then like everything is just a walk in the park for them, then that's so boring. And then it's like there is no good route for this. There are some of them that do come in and they are like really powerful, but they like evolved into that, like Mushoku Tensei, where he trained when he was a little kid. There was the world's greatest assassin. He literally took the specific skills in order to build his base. There's a couple other ones that are like that, where they train from the ground up to get strong, and those are fine. But if they're like, I got reincarnated and I killed 300 slimes, now I can fight Jesus, you're like, what?
Yeah, that became a trend. And the worst offender that I saw was the reincarnated demon prince one, where the guy was going to like the magic school and he was a demon. He was like the devil or something. Like he was a demon reincarnated. Yeah. And he was like super duper OP. Like he killed a guy with his heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little different because like he has a reason to be that powerful. He's literally the Demon King. He's like the Demon King from 2,000 years ago. He's just like reincarnated. So that like he has the reason to be strong.
True, but I
you
was
don't
just
know
like,
about
what the hell?
that. It's right off the bat.
You know what's funny is that like the concept is fine, but I don't know how far the gimmick goes. You know what I mean? Like,
it just forever. I stopped watching it.
Yeah, but I'm just like, how do you keep that going? Like One Punch Man. One Punch Man is great.
In like season 2 or some shit, there's like this super knowledgeable tree, and like the tree is supposed to intentionally fail him and his like little class, and like he's just like so good at being the Demon King that he like breaks through reason so he can like pass this test. And I was like, this is so fucking boring, dude.
Yeah, because I remember the one that got me was like he was doing like a sparring match, or it's like a test where he's fighting another guy and he kills the guy, resurrects him, kills him again, resurrects him. That was
disrespect.
I was just like, what is going on?
He killed him with his heartbeat, and then like he was like, well, I can just do this all day, and he would just obliterate him and then bring him back. And I was like, this is cold. This is cold on another level.
It is nuts. So it was like a wave of isekai, a wave of like different like little shows that was like, you know, the overpowered main character. I mean, we just got it with Osan, or like he was trained by the strongest people in the world and he doesn't know that he's strong, and the gag got old very fast.
Yeah, Osan was teetering on just like
dropping,
super boring. It was like there was just something about it that was like just good enough that I was like, I think I can watch one more and I think I'm all right. And then it's like, it was just good enough to get me through the season. That's why I've titled it the most okayest of anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that one's like really popular. That's like a really popular bias. Do you have any other biases that people like don't typically go through?
I'm going to go back. I'm going to go way back, and a way back anime fan. This is one of my pet peeves from like high school era me as an anime fan. I hated the story trope of two main characters, but one is just a battery for the other one. I did not like that, right? And some shows did it well. I think Fate did it well, where it's like, oh, you know, I have my summon person like Saber or whatever, and I kind of like fuel the magic for Saber. So like main character guy, if people die, they are killed. I forget what his name. His name like Shiro, something like that. Like he doesn't do anything. Yeah, he doesn't do anything. Saber fights, and he's just kind of there being like her power source.
He does do something like...
Well, like later.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, even later than that, he then also does other things.
Yeah, that was like Fate's good.
Yeah.
The bad version of that to me is like Shakugan no Shana. Like, I don't know if you ever watched the anime. It's an older anime.
The first episode, I have the third season on my watch list, and I'm just like, I can't bring myself to go back and watch it.
The first episode was amazing. That fight was incredible, but literally the guy is just a battery for her. And he can't really do anything other than just get wrapped up in bullshit and almost die constantly. And I just really hated that trope for a while that a lot of anime around the time period was doing, where it's like, yeah, too many characters, but one is effectively useless. Like, I don't like that. What I like is if you're going to, again, Dan to Dan, if you're gonna have a deuteragonist or you're gonna have two protagonists, both of them need to be good in their own right. I don't think one character should just be a plot device for the other one. That's not interesting. And I get maybe you don't want to have like both characters be badasses and do, but that's cool. Legend of Legendary Heroes. Both characters are badasses in their own right. The main female is a warrior who is like a really good sword fighter, and the main character guy is a really powerful mage. And they both have their own like backstory. They both have the interest in like personality traits, and they're both good in their own respects, and they compensate for each other's weaknesses. That's really cool. But if you got one guy who's really weak and he's literally just there to feed the other main character fuel, essentially, I hate that. I always hated that. You don't really see it too much in modern day anime, but it was like such a big thing.
Anything super bad like that.
Because it was I'm trying to think of the other anime. Because there's another anime.
Zatch Bell.
Zatch Bell kind of like that as well, but I like Kyo and Zatch's, or I should say Gash, because I'm reading the manga.
It feels a little different though, because it's like they're not a battery for the other one. It's just like a cohesive machine where they work at different parts. It's like dude with the book, like he doesn't have powers, but like Zatch can't use his powers without dude with the book. So they are technically a battery for each other, but that's what makes them like a good duo.
It's a very good symbiotic relationship because the male main character from Shakugan no Shana, is it Shakugan? Dude, I feel like it is. I can't even remember. It's been so long since I watched it. But anyway, the guy, he doesn't really do much. He just kind of is around and he's learning about shit. Yeah. And then he's getting fucked over by the villains. And I'm just like, this dude sucks. Like, get him out the fucking show. Like, why? She could have just been fighting by herself. It just feels like a dumb gimmick. We're just like, oh, you need this tag along to be
interest.
Here.
You need to be interested in somebody because reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like,
related,
this sucks.
Relatable.
Yeah. It is annoying. And it just sucked. So I was just like, I want to make sure it's the anime that I'm thinking of. Yep, it's the anime. I believe this is the anime. There's another one. Dude, what's the other one? I don't even remember it, but it was another anime that was like that, where it's like, oh, one of the main characters, he just kind of is like the fuel source for the other one. And I'm just like, oh, just lame. But yeah, that was like a big one for me.
Quasar.
I mean, kind of.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. But yeah, again, I understand, calcium is good for the bones. So, I'm fine with that one. That one gets a pass. Turn me to the Sonic gift. Anyway. But yeah, no, it was a trope for a while in anime, and I honestly just didn't like it. I didn't think it was interesting. I think how DNAnime handles it.
I didn't even process that as a trope in its own, but now that you say that, it's like, oh yeah, that did happen a lot. There was always one thing that kind of just propelled the other thing forward.
Now I'm just like, at that point, like, why is the other character there? Just give the other person's powers.
Like, boring.
Like, I really didn't like that guy. Like, and it kind of sucked with Fate at the beginning too. But then, obviously, main character for Fate, he started to do shit and learn and get, be able to fight in his own regard, and that's cool. But in some characters, they
Fate
don't.
Unlimited Blade Works almost made you confused because in Fate Zero, the guy that was like in control of Saber, he was he was crazy. He was like assassinating people. He was like working during the war, and then like when you get to the Unlimited Blade Works, and it's like Rin and Emiya, and they're like just a dude and just a chick with some magical powers, and then it's like they were literally like Pokemon battling with the hero's servants.
Yeah, and I'm just
but
like,
later on they
sucks.
do get involved, and I was like, okay, you had me in the first half.
But that's always been like a bugbear, and that came from like Shakugan no Shana. Ooh, can I say another one real quick?
Oh yeah, sure.
Because it kind of fits on whatever happened. There's gonna be a small one. I fucking hate when I get fucking gaslit by the first episode of anime. Dude, there's so many anime. There's like super cool concepts. Yeah, and like, oh, the concept's really cool. The animation's amazing, dude. One of the ones that will always kill me is Project Arms, and this is just like a me just having a bitch session real quick. Project Arms, old anime from like early 2000s. The first episode, the fight scene between the main character and like his Vegeta, essentially, was amazingly animated. It looked beautiful. It was incredible. That budget goes out the window for the rest of the episodes, and it just becomes one move spam. We
spent it all on one episode.
And I was like, damn it, man. But anyway, that's just me. I just thought of that. Project Arms is really good. I love Project Arms. Do you want to be stronger? I could give you the power that you need. This evil arm just talking to him. But yeah, that sucked. Any Project Arm fans out there? I do love Project Arms, but yeah, I got gaslit because it was that, and it was like I think it was Shotgun on Shauna as well. There's a really cool fight scene in the first episode where like Shauna's fighting the guy like on this like not really like a bridge, but like near the river. You know, in every anime they have that scene where it's like the hill that goes down next to the river. They were fighting there, and that fight scene looks amazing. And then I feel like no other fight really lived up to the first fight. But anyway.
You just kind of like wait for the next one to happen. It's like never really comes.
Yeah. Again, that isn't really like a gripe or anything like that. I just thought about it right now. But yeah, do you have another one that is kind of like a bugbear for you?
I got a whole bunch. I have some good ones and some bad ones. I have one that is on both sides of the coins where there is the animation. Talking about Blue Lock earlier, if it is really bad, I will typically just not watch it because like why would I subject myself to watching something that is like a child's animation, whereas a web novel, something like that, like how Blue Lock has been doing, like why would I do that on purpose? But then on the other side, I have really good animation that I will watch it just because, ooh, pretty colors. And the flip side to Blue Lock's poor animation would be like Demon Slayer's good animation. Like their story is, as everybody has by this point figured out, simple. It's very simple, but ooh, pretty colors everywhere. And
that
it's cool.
Real,
like,
and everybody see in the show.
Yeah, you just like drawn in by the animation and the art, and it looks so good. And you're like, oh, I want to watch it just because it's pretty. So we have more than just negative biases. We also have to bring to attention like the good ones, like when they put a lot of effort into animation, because it's not only just the really flashy ones like Demon Slayer. There's also things like Violet Evergarden that are beautifully animated. The art style is like incredibly good. The animation for it is so smooth, and it feels so natural that just the animation on its own is good enough for you to watch it. But Violet Evergarden also had an epic story, so definitely go watch Violet Evergarden. It's a good one.
It is a good one.
I was so sad when I heard Kyoto Animations like burn down.
Yeah.
After that, the reason was so fucking stupid too. The reason they burned down was so dumb. I was irrationally angry for them. It's so dumb. Did you hear about why they got burned down?
No, it's like a faxer or something like that.
Some dude thought that Kyoto Animations like stole his story, so he went and he burned the place down because he thought that they were using his work. So they caught the guy, and I think he's in jail now. But that's crazy. Like even if that was the case, that is not what you do. So,
yes. You do not resort to arson. You know who I'm talking to. But no, like that's sad. I don't remember if anybody got hurt, but I felt bad.
I believe there were several people that were injured, but I don't think anybody died.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, Kyoto Animation was golden. It fucking sucks that happened.
They did rebuild though. They had like a rebuild funding event. And the worst part was that they like lost all of their files and everything, so they started from scratch. So
that breaks my heart.
Yeah,
because again, I haven't watched all. Okay, so we got an update.
All right, we heard from the studio that there were in fact numerous people killed during this fire, so that makes it even worse.
Yeah,
that's awful.
I remember the story when it came out.
Extremely talented individuals.
Yeah, all over a guy's raven and not understanding or just being, essentially
get some help. Get some help.
The voice. The voice from the reality, I guess, is what I was trying to say. But I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't remember that from the story. I remember the story coming out, but I didn't remember the passing of everybody.
Yeah, because it was like right after the Violet Evergarden movie, I think, and then like. I was like, damn, that really sucks. And then on top of that, it's like, we'll never get an animation similar to Violet Evergarden because all of their assets were like burned down in the fire. So they lost a lot of talent. They started from scratch. They had no files. Have they released anything new since their fire? I'm sure they have. I just don't know if I've seen it. But I don't know if it looks similar.
never
But
sees the light of freedom again.
they were also
What a
one of
piece
the
of shit.
companies that like treated their employees well, from what I understood. So it was like, why of all, even if you had to do it, why did you have to pick Kyoto Animation, man? They were so good in every aspect. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I have a lot of biases as far as things that I enjoy. I watch anything shonen. You guys should know that by now. Anything fighting, anything shonen, anything martial arts, I'll give it a good old college try. For the longest time, I was watching literally every shonen that came out, period. Because I just love it. I was like that for a little bit with Isekais, but I got burnt out of Isekais. Because I like the whole, like, you know.
Some of them are still good. Some of them are still good. Some of them are trying to push the limit a little bit, but some of them are still good.
Yeah, I don't know if I can watch a dude coming back as a fucking refrigerator or fuck. Like, but
hey man, that vending machine one was pretty good. We'll have no vending machine slander here, except unless you're talking about the harem that was somehow building around the vending machine. That didn't really make much sense. I don't know how people got like attracted to the vending machine that couldn't speak. But I mean,
wait,
hey, but it was good and it was animated well, so I watched it. So,
wait. He can't speak?
Technically he can. He can only say, like, in Japan, their vending machines have like pre-recorded voice lines that like respond when you do certain things. He can only say those pre-recorded voice lines.
So okay, we got another update. I guess he could talk through text, but I was like, how does he get a part of a party? How do they know anything of what he is or
it
that
was
he can be
it was
helpful?
literally a series of like guesswork. The first person that found him kind of like worked it out that certain things meant like yes or no. He basically goes through the whole thing answering yes or no questions. I don't remember him being able to talk through text. Like he could talk through the recordings. But
I need to watch this damn anime now?
I mean, it's so dumb, but it's like for some reason they animated it so well.
So wait, how do they fight? They just throw them at people?
Dude, how he fights is he just turns into other vending machines. And then he just does other things. Like he's in the party and he'll turn into like a cola vending machine. And then they'll use the cola and then he'll turn into like some like a fire extinguisher kind of vending machine. And then they'll use that to mix the two to create like he also turned into like a foam vending machine to like fill a pit. He turned into a cardboard, or he turned into a balloon vending machine, filled up a bunch of balloons, and then turned into a cardboard vending machine so that he could fly.
What the? I feel like this is marketing.
We're not going to talk about the part where he turned into the sexual protection vending machine.
What?
Yeah.
Oh Lord! What? Anyway,
it's funny. Like it's so unserious. But I mean, I like creative stuff like that. If it gets creative, I'll probably watch it.
I haven't seen anything of it outside of us talking about it. That's the most I know about it, and knowing that it is an anime. I think I actually watched the trailer on stream when the second season came out.
And as far as I can tell, he's only turned into existing vending machines. So he can't just become a vending machine for things that are convenient. It has to be something that Japan has already invented. But they're not in Japan, so like all these things are new to the people in this world. So he's just like, yeah, I turned into a condom dispenser, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
What? Why did he do? Somebody about to fuck and they wear protection.
There was actually like a council meeting where they were like, hey, our people are like contracting diseases and stuff during this time period because it's like a free for all. And so he just turns into the vending machine with instructions on it.
Wrap up your little Jimmy. Oh my God. Well, there we go. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not really anything now. Like I kind of like realized like I need to stop having these biases. I need to give things a shot, even if it's not my cup of tea. Because like I don't like romance anime. A lot of my biases are
test the water, where it's like I know this can go south, like fan service. I will allow it a little. If you go too far, then you've gone too far. Yeah. But other ones are like, man, I'm watching this. If I find out that somebody is like 5-braining the rest of the verse, like Lelouch and Classroom of the Elite, or Ayano Koji. That shit is the fucking bomb. I love that. I love not being able to understand what the fuck is going on.
Except for fucking Detective Conan, where I was just like
things like Log Horizon. No idea what's going on, but I feel like that's because they're ignoring parts of their own world that I don't like, like the dungeon. Go to the dungeon. Go in the dungeon. It's more interesting.
Dungeon Horizon.
I love Log Horizon. The first season was really great, and then the second season was like 8 years later, and then it was like mostly politics, and you're like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about, because they keep referencing like other cities, and I'm like, I don't even remember that town. So
you know, another like other things in anime that I stay away from. I don't watch idol anime. I watched K-On! And I really enjoyed it.
I watch some of them, not very often, but I will see some. Like I watched the first season of Zombieland Saga.
Really? Yeah, I watched the first couple episodes, and I was just like, nah. Like it's just not my cup of tea.
I mean, Oshinoko is kind of an idol anime, and that was really good.
Wait, which one?
Oshinoko. That's an idol anime.
Oh yeah. I know everybody's been talking about the most recent season. I keep seeing clips of it.
I mean, the music in it is awesome.
I do enjoy the music. It's fun. I really enjoy it. My thing with K-On! That always got me when I was a teenager, I was just like, how the fuck are they the greatest band ever? All these bitches do is eat cake and drink tea. I never see them practice. That's all they fucking do. They go to the club room, they eat cake, they drink tea, talk about how to get fat, and then they just play like the best song ever at like a student like fair or whatever at school or whatever. I'm just like, this, what the hell? This is my Beck Mongolian Chop Squad.
You got the talent. You don't.
Yeah, Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. You had to watch that dude learn the instrument and be good. But K-On! Girls, they just good.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are just like, I don't watch a whole lot of them. Oshinoko is kind of like the exception. Zombieland Saga, I did not watch the second season because I did not like the first season that much. It was like fine, and I only watched the first season because they personified fucking Truck Coon, and they hit the chick in the first episode, and I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really good. But you know what idol anime I want to watch? I don't know what it is, what the anime is about. I don't even know if it's an idol anime. I just seen this clip where this girl is like performing, and she's like in like a maid costume or whatever. She's singing.
Shot.
And then she get fucking shot.
And then she keeps dancing. What show is that? Like, I've seen that same clip, and I don't know what show that is.
I'm like, what is that?
And it's like, why did? Because at the end of the clip, like everybody in the audience pulls out a gun, and I'm like, what? What is happening?
I don't know, but that sounds like my American
watching that one
anime
turn into the fucking airplane.
But yeah, idol anime, romance anime, I don't really watch. I started watching Horimiya, and I really enjoyed it because I felt like that relationship was like nice.
Yeah, those
really
slice of life rom-com ones are pretty good. Sometimes don't go back and watch some of the older ones. They fall into the miscommunication annoyances a lot. Toradora was like the entire thing was a misunderstanding. I like for what it was at the time, it was like fine, but like going back now, I would never. But there's also like, you know, other biases that I also don't really vibe with. If I ever find out that a show dropped most of the series in its animation or its adaptation, I will probably not watch it. Promised Neverland season 2.
Yeah.
And I'll never tell anybody to go watch that. I didn't know they did that until the last episode where they put like 200 chapters in episode 12 or 25 or whatever. I was like,
they just gave up.
Yeah, they literally just like, they just did a slideshow of the next 200 chapters. And I was like, what's happening?
I don't know if they were like,
we're not getting Glass Lake. What was that?
Yeah, I don't know if they were like, we're not getting renewed for next season, or they were just like, hey, we want to hype you up.
Unacceptable.
There's other things that's gonna happen.
I think personally, every anime, whether or not it is greenlit for the next episode or the next season, should act as if it is going to the next season. If it gets cut off and there is no continuation, then we can bitch and moan about it not continuing. But you should not, because you can at some point get the chance to like go to the next season as long as you didn't finish it. But if you cut it off at the end, there's no saving it. That one is a dead series. Promise Neverland season 2 cannot be saved. It has already gone over the important stuff that has like, it's skipped over the stuff that it needs to talk about. So you cannot save it. Should Blue Lock get a third season? No, I think they should give it to somebody else first, though. Maybe they would have to. They would have to do an entire remaster, like Kenshin, like Rurouni Kenshin's getting a remaster, and
dude,
it is good.
Blue Lock Have it animated by Wit Studio. The Blue Lock. Oh, I can see it now. It's all redone. But yeah, I don't know. But those are my biases. But hey, let me be a cautionary tale. If you do watch an anime and you're like, this ain't my cup of tea. I'm not an action guy. I'm not a romance guy. I'm not a Don. If I watched the first episode, read the first chapter, and I was like, ooh, this is good for crazy stuff. And I would drop the granted. Don is just so many things like being thrown at me.
That does
I was just
remind
like,
me
I gotta watch it.
One more of my biases that typically has me like testing the waters. Don put it right in front of me in the first episode and then threw that shit away. They were like, it is the power of friendship. I hate it when people like get their astronomical power boost just because they have friends. Not like if their friends help them or something, or they train with their friends. That's not the same. But if they're just like, I have friends and I can't let them down, so they just get like a 10x power boost. I hate that.
Oh my God.
And then
I love that.
Don did it, and he was like, Okaroon was like, she's my first friend. I have to protect her, and then immediately gets slammed into the wall, and then just instantly goes, I asked Miss ISA, I don't think I can do this.
That shit was so fucking funny because he was like doing his whole heartfelt thing. He was so sincere,
and then as soon as he got blasted, he was like, all right, well.
Because he was like, I never had a friend. I was waiting for the aliens to come and y'all never came. And then she came and she was my first friend. He was like, I'll become a demon or a monster for her.
Yeah.
And then
he starts letting like Turbo Granny like take over. And then he's like, I'll become a monster. And it was like, oh, that's kind of fire. And then he gets sick. Fucking 6 organs sensed flat into the wall. And then he's immediately like, oh, Miss ISA, I don't think I can do this.
And she was like, you ain't even trying.
Yeah, he was 180 so fast. But I loved it. I love that he didn't just get strong enough on a power that he was unable to control because he had a friend. I was like, that's so good.
Don is the best thing that ever thinged. Watch it right now.
Everybody stop watching this podcast and go ahead and watch Don.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a perfect time because the podcast is winding down. Let us know what are some of the things that you guys despise or really like in anime. Some of the tropes that you really enjoy. Some of the things that you kind of like, oh, I don't know, I'm kind of wary of this. Or just certain anime you just probably didn't give a try. Hey, like me, I didn't think I was going to like Undead Unluck. I gave it a second try. Really enjoyed it. Even though I'm not big into romance or, I mean, it wasn't even really fan service. It was just assault. But I got past the first 3 chapters. Really, really good. Once you get to the spoil town, it's amazing. I
went back and I watched Hajime no Ippo. I watched all like 100 episodes. I like sports anime. They typically go above and beyond, but I just like I don't usually watch older anime, and I felt like I missed the boat. But I went back and watched it, and it was good. It was definitely
animation
good.
Is really good, dude. Like, it's old, and you can tell it's old. Look at their noses, but the animation when the fights
definitely tell the art style is of the previous generation of anime, so definitely was a good one, though.
So, hey, sometimes you got to turn that little part of your brain off and just give it a shot. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for our 28th episode of DNAnime Podcast. We are back. If you guys want to help support the boys, hit that like button over there on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the little notification bell so you can keep up to date whenever the podcast episodes come out. We are back to the weekly grind of the podcast, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you listen to it in the audio realm, please leave us a rating. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you like and dislike about the podcast so we can improve. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it wherever you watch it, or if you're watching it live here on twitch.tv/beautiful_crow or Vix Eel. It'll be in the description below as well if you want to hang out with all the boys and girls and the lads and lasses live. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Hope you guys had a fun one. Enjoyed your freaking weekend, and we'll catch you guys next week with the 29th episode of the pod. See you guys then.
Bye.
Bye.